Hey kids. Have you guys ever heard the term cash grab? If not, allow me to read you the dictionary definition. Cash grab, part of speech, noun, product designed primarily or solely with the intent of generating profits or money. An activity engaged in with the intention of making money quickly. But my favorite personal definition of a cash grab is an expensive product of dubious quality or design created just to make a quick buck. So, examples would be like where a makeup company will make some sort of eyeshadow palette and then slap an influencer's name and face on it, as if it's some revolutionary new high quality product, but it's really just a chalky piece of garbage, but they make way more money on it than they normally would because the influencer's name's on it. There's cash grabs everywhere in life. What else? That $999 monitor stand that Apple came out with a few years ago. Wellness apps that tell you things about your body that you already know, like you're gonna have an energy dip at 3 p.m. The McRib. You get it. Well, friends, Hollywood is no exception. It is a hungry business, and many movies, oftentimes sequels especially, are put out by studios as cash grabs. They put minimal effort and minimal budget into their project, knowing that it's probably going to make a lot of money because it's attached to the original. But sometimes the cash grab doesn't grab the cash. Ladies and gents, enter the worst cash grab film I have ever seen to date, Mean Girls 2. The absolute garbage and not sequel to the brilliant, funny original Mean Girls. Mean Girls 2 stars Jo, a not like other girls tomboy who has been forced to move around with her NASCAR mechanic father for most of her life, landing at North Shore High on what is supposed to be a pit stop. Race car humor. What is supposed to be a pit stop before college, but instead turns into a 2-hour-long, pukey, cringy mess. I kid you not, this is almost as bad as Teen Star Academy, and this is gonna be a long video because I had something to say about almost every single scene. I couldn't help myself. So buckle up, put on your tiered party dress and hair feathers, and let's try to make Mean Girls 2 happen, but it's not going to happen. But first, a word from today's sponsor, you already know. Hey, do you ever feel like you're literally so busy that you can't function? Like you really just want a 5-minute break to yourself? Well, you know who knows that you're busy? Today's sponsor, HelloFresh.
Good mood, good food. HelloFresh.
HelloFresh takes care of meal planning and prepping and cleanup and all of that stuff to help you save time in your busy schedule. Between the pre-portioned ingredients, foolproof recipes, and convenient doorstep delivery, you got all the time in the world, basically. You should be able to have the career of Beyonce. Not having to worry about dinner is the gift that keeps on giving. I love HelloFresh so much. I love every recipe I've ever made with them. I love the convenience. Love not having to go to a grocery store, talk to people. And with the cost of groceries going up like crazy right now, HelloFresh is more affordable than ever, cheaper than groceries, and about 70% less expensive than dining out or dining in when you order it from one of those food delivery apps. Also very exciting, now it is easier than ever to really power up with protein. All you have to do is check for the protein smart tag on the menu and you can easily find recipes that have 30 plus grams of protein. For all of you buff bros out there. I can't remember what it was, I think it was the 1-pan shawarma spiced turkey lettuce wraps. So good. It's all good and convenient and affordable. And spectacular. So if you're interested in trying out HelloFresh and saving some time, saving some money, and making some delicious food, you can visit HelloFresh.com and use code JamieSaid60 at checkout for 60% off plus free shipping. I'm kind of anti-shipping, so I think free shipping is always good. Again, friends, that's HelloFresh.com, and when you're checking out, use code JamieSaid60 to save 60% off plus free shipping. Thank you, HelloFresh, for sponsoring a portion of today's video. And now back to the show. Hey kids, we're back. So this movie centers around the adorable main character Jo, who opens everything with her sort of internal thought monologue, kind of like in the first Mean Girls movie where Lindsay Lohan narrated everything. So she's narrating over top of this kind of strange scene where some random man is paying her a big ol' stack of cash for an unknown reason.
It's not like I'm selling my kidney or anything.
Spoiler alert. He is actually paying her to befriend his daughter, but more on that later. So Jo's inner monologue goes on to tell us that her dad builds engines for race cars, and because of his work, she has had to change schools
2 times a year for the past 8 years.
So she's been around, you know what I mean? She's seen some things. And today is her first day at yet another school, North Shore High. Same high school as the original Mean Girls.
The last stop before Carnegie Mellon University. My dream school.
Yeah, so there's this other school she really wants to attend and talks about it throughout the whole movie. It's called Carnegie Mellon? Mellon's not a school word.
Mellon.
She wants to attend this other school because her late mother attended, and it's a whole thing. Just pay attention. So she's walking in on her first day of school, and it's kind of funny because they did that thing they did in the original Mean Girls movie where the main character's inner monologue kind of explains all the social tribes of the school. Remember when Lindsay Lohan was like, you got the JV jock? Or no, it wasn't Lindsay Lohan, it was Janice. Yeah, Janice was like, you got the JV jocks, nerdy Asians, cool Asians, girls who eat their feelings, girls who don't eat anything, you remember. So Jo does the same thing, but she compares all the social groups to cars.
Like the muscle cars who think they own the road. Smart cars who don't fit in. The I'm so perky I might shake off my tube top cutesy cars. The high performance, high maintenance sports cars.
And these car analogies are obviously because Jo is into cars. Man, it's almost as if Jo is different than other girls. Jo, are you like other girls?
Do I look like most girls?
Yeah, you do. You just don't really talk like them. A lot of car puns.
If they liked you, your life was all green light.
So friends, meet the Plastics 2.0. With this girl in the middle, Mandy, she's like the leader. She's the Regina George, if you will. The other two are Chastity and Hope. Weird names for their characters, but whatever. Guess it's irony. And they are boring. Their personality traits are so silly. Chastity sleeps around. That's her character trait, and she's stupid. And Hope is a germaphobe.
Who believe that germs led to ugliness, and ugliness led to death.
Can't argue with that. So then we meet our other main character, Abby. She is a loser. She is one of those girls that bad things always happen to, you know, like random 36-year-olds carrying a tray of milkshakes, walking by, tripping over nothing, and then dousing her from head to toe. I hate when that happens. So Jo heads over to Principal Duval's office, played by, was it Tim Meadows? I can't remember his name. Doesn't matter. He's the only actor from the first movie that agreed to do the second movie.
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
I mean, I can't blame him. The script they gave him was top notch.
The cheerleading squad will be going to the public library for a field trip. Last year we had some problems with that where 12 girls go and we had 15 girls come back.
Huh?
I know how much you all love vampires, but remember, the school nurse will be heading up the blood drive.
So Jo heads to her first class, which is shop class, obviously, because again, not like other girls. Which is why her entire shop class is 100% male students plus her. No girls would ever take shop besides Jo. And she meets this kid, Tyler, who was also in Pretty Little Liars and is at least like 23 years old playing a high school junior. So that's fun for us. They kind of get off on the wrong foot though while they're building their birdhouses because Tyler is kind of sexist.
Guess you could decorate it.
But I was thinking I could carve the dovetail joint.
Yeah, Tyler, she knows what a dovetail joint is, so
Put that in your back pocket.
Meanwhile, the Plastics are having lunch, and we find out that the leader, Mandy, is dating this doofus guy named Nick. But she's only dating him because he has a full ride to UCLA or something.
Yeah, 1 week in LA and I'll be a bikini model, reality star, awesome.
I don't know if it's the little house on the prairie dress or like the big dumb bows in her hair or the general 36-year-oldness, but Mandy is incredibly uncool for a character who's supposed to be the coolest girl in school, you know?
Awesome.
Also, why is she allowed to bring her chihuahua to school? I guess they make exceptions for cool girls at North Shore.
Nikki, over here, I missed you. Hey, have you been lifting weights?
How long has it been since you guys have seen each other? Aren't you dating? And attending the same school?
Oh, dude! Your rat dog just tongued me.
This movie's so weird. Jo shows up to eat lunch too and almost gets groped by this creep. Thankfully, she has eyes in the back of her head.
No groping south of the equator.
Dang. Hot chick can really handle herself.
Wow, the hot chick can really handle herself.
Wow, I just said that. So Mandy's chihuahua runs over to Abby, who gives her a treat, which she immediately goes back and pukes up into Mandy's purse.
Oh my god! Who did that?
Dogs don't puke unless someone gives them an unauthorized treat, so I must point the finger of blame.
It was Abby.
Yeah, of course it was Abby, because Abby is the hideous loser who falls all the time. See what I mean? Wait, what was that fall? Abby offers Mandy her purse. Mandy says no. Stupid girl puts her purse behind Abby, so Abby trips on it. Okay, sorry, just had to double check because that was a really weird shot. But also, wouldn't that smash everything in your purse? Yes. Hope you didn't have any snacks in there, like hope you didn't have any bugles in there. So that's the end of that scene. We've established everybody's character, and then Mandy throws her purse away along with its entire contents. So her phone, her wallet, bugles probably, and her dog. So that's cool. So this high school has like its own version of Facebook. It's called North Shore Centric. You know, the kids can friend each other, they can post statuses, etc. Abby has 3 friends. They all appear to be her family members. I think this first one is her sister, and if you actually pause and take the time to read what they wrote on her wall, it's kind of hilarious. You know, just one of those fun little gems that the director didn't think anybody would pause to read. This one from her sister says, "What time are you going to be home for dinner, darling? Mom and I are making your favorite meal, honey-baked ham and sweet potatoes, plus extra sweet tea with fired green tomatoes. We may even have time to make homemade ice cream with the new peaches." Not the old peaches, obviously.
Hey, Abby, how are you doing? Any problems with those girls you told me about? I know I always stay away from them as much as possible. They always are mean to me and make fun of my neck brace, like I'm wearing that for fashion. Did your dad ask you what time you'll be home for dinner? Feel free to bring some of your new girlfriends. We're looking forward to meeting Janet. I remember when I was in school, we had a brave young lady who wore a neck brace, and she turned out to be the student most likely to succeed.
Why are they talking about Janet's neck brace? And who's Janet? That's what I want to know. Anywho, the point of this scene is to actually show Mandy's status. We got sidetracked, but we're supposed to be looking at Mandy's status, which says, "Hates scum-sucking B-words who poison other people's pets." Oh, you mean the pet you threw away? So guys, obviously, this means war. Of all the catalysts that could have sparked a plot for this movie, these filmmakers chose a puking chihuahua. I don't know how else to say it, that's what they did. So because of the dog puke incident, the plastics start kind of wreaking havoc on Abby's life. So Mandy's boyf smashes chili and mashed potatoes in her face, somebody takes a picture of it, they shoot paintballs at her car, throw toilet paper at her, all the typical things bullies do to ugly losers. And Jo cannot just sit idly by and watch this all happen. She won't stand for it anymore. She offers Abby a ride home because I guess she couldn't drive her car because there's paint on it. So she takes her home on her Vespa where she meets Abby's dad. Recognize him from earlier?
I'll buy her some new clothes. We got a spa.
Money's not gonna fix this, Sydney.
Hold up, that's Sydney? Okay, so it was her dad who wrote the Honey Baked Ham novel. Why did I think it was her sister? I thought he looked sisterly.
If only she had some friends.
Light bulb.
Yeah, so the dad gets this bright idea to pay Jo, who he just met, to befriend his daughter. But the really weird thing is that this is supposed to be the exact scene that we already saw at the beginning of the movie, but they changed it. They shot 2 different scenes.
I mean, just look at that face, Jo. Abby needs you. We need you. And we're willing to pay. Just look at that face. She needs you. We need you. And we're willing to pay.
Am I weird or is that weird?
How thirsty I get when I'm weird.
So guys, Jo is conflicted. She wants to accept the $4,000 that Sydney is offering because she needs to get into that school, but she's not really sure because what a sketchy thing to do, you know? However, Sydney is very convincing.
And I should have realized why. He was the king of infomercials. He could sell anything from meat juicers to cat toilets.
Sorry, what? Sydney sells meat juicers? I was on the fence before, but I'm on board now. Take his money, girl. Any man who can juice meat, A-okay in my book. So meanwhile, the plastics have recruited this guy Elliot, who's a geek, and he is a hacker of sorts, and you know what that means. He be like, I'm in, because hackers be like, I'm in. They have him post some embarrassing pictures of Abby onto the North Shore Center.
That computer geek lived up to his promise.
But it's bogus because you don't need a hacker to post the photos on social media, right? Right? Am I crazy or am I normal? Mandy already had photos, like photo albums posted. It's a social media site. You don't need a hacker. Not to mention, why would they choose this photo of her standing next to her paintball splattered car? Why are you guys so bad at being bullies? Clearly, this photo would have been way more embarrassing, but what do I know? Hope has some very interesting thoughts at this time.
That computer geek lived up to his promise. Which is like a rarity in life that anyone comes through, especially fathers and doctors.
Huh? That reminded me of one of those BetterHelp commercials where someone's like, hey, what do you want? And they're like, I want a job that I don't hate.
I want to fall in love. Yeah, I do. Sometimes I feel like I just want someone to tell me exactly what to do.
And their friend's like, I just meant what do you want from Pizza Hut? Way to make it weird, Hope.
Especially fathers and doctors.
So while they're basking in the glory of their cyberbullying, they realize there's another video on the site of Joe offering Abby a ride home, and it already has tons of comments.
There's tons of comments. Ugh. All the guys think she's hot.
Yes, every single solitary comment is about how hot Joe is. So Mandy's like, okay, so she's hot, she's well connected, she's basically one of us.
We'll just need to make it very clear that from here on out, she's only nice to the people that we like. Agreed?
Okay, yeah, cool, sounds great, but are we not gonna talk about Chastity squirting you with a water bottle? Because it's very distracting. What did she do? Why is she spraying her legs, you guys? I don't get it. So the next day at school, the Plastics try to recruit Joe to be in their clique, but she turns them down because she can think for herself.
I'll have to pass.
And she decides she would rather go hang out with Abby at an auto parts store instead of getting raspberry frappuccinos with the Plastics. And they see her across the street at the auto parts place, and Mandy gets very upset. Maddie, if you're mad at someone else, you're supposed to explode your drink in that person's face, not your own. But also, whose hand is that? She gets angry enough that she actually goes to Joe's house with the other Plastics and steals some industrial grade adhesive. That's odd. Wonder what they're gonna do with it.
Hey, Abby. How are you?
I have something else written in my script, but I have to break away and put Joe into the female protagonist hall compilation, obviously.
That's embarrassing.
Welcome, Joe. We've been waiting for you.
Pull me as hard as you can. Okay.
Wait a damn minute.
So I have a qualm about this, of course, I know. Not that I'm an expert on butt glue by any means, but if Mandy applied adhesive to the seat of the moped the night before, wouldn't have been as dry as a bone by morning? Just saying. Glue experts? Clue me in. So she can't get off of her Vespa because she's glued, so she has no choice but to drive it into the school bathroom.
Wow, bad.
So cool.
And change into Abby's art smock, which just makes her look even cooler because the next day, half the girls are wearing paint splattered stuff to school. So joke's on you, Mandy.
I saw Katie Heron wearing army pants and flip-flops, so I bought army pants and flip-flops.
And on that note, kids, we gotta take a short break. When we come back, Tyler and Joe go on a weird date. Don't miss it.
Thank you.
After you.
Thank you very much.
Guys, what's happening? Why did the entire style of this movie suddenly change? Who took these photos? Why are there so many of them eating kettle corn? Where did they get this bear? Why are they in the woods? Sorry, I got a little excited there. So anyway, they finally kiss at the end of their really weird date, and we see this cassette tape recorder that clearly must have been placed there by the Mean Girls. But again, it's a cassette tape recorder, so for those of you who are under the age of like 27, that means that they will have only captured the audio from the conversation, which means whoever listens to it back will just hear Tyler and Joe talking about how Joe's never dated anybody or kissed anybody, and then they'll just hear spitty, makey outy sounds. Well guys, you may think this is all fun and games and kettle corn, but the next day the audio from their date is playing on a TV in the cafeteria where they normally do like the school announcements. But again, it's only the audio, so they had to fill the video somehow. So someone, I guess Mandy, put together a slideshow of pictures of Joe and Tyler. This is not that funny. I don't know why it's so funny.
I never played with I never suffered through 7 minutes in heaven.
Who took this one? Hacker Geek Elliot, was that you? Do you be like, I'm in shop class? Seems like you do be like that.
Ah, young love. Isn't it pathetic?
I wish she would have been like, not as pathetic as your grandma pearls. You know, reminiscent to Janice Ian being like, your mom's chest hair. I just love and cherish more than anything that Tyler has nothing to say. He doesn't go talk to her. He doesn't explain that he wasn't involved in the leaked audio. And it also kind of appears that he and Maddie are together or something. Like maybe he was in on it and they're secretly dating. They kind of alluded to that.
I hope you and Mandy are very happy together.
Well guys, plot twist. I genuinely didn't see this coming. But at lunch that day, Joe is kind of venting about all of this and she's like, how does Tyler even put up with Mandy? I can't believe he did this. And Abby informs her,
you can't choose your siblings. What? Tyler's Mandy's stepbrother.
The next day.
Hey kids, it's the next day because I can't say that many words at one time. So in addition to finding out that Tyler is Mandy's stepbrother, Joe also finds out that he did not in fact bug his car because they were in Doofus Nick's car.
Oh my god, we were in Nick's car.
Why were they in Nick's car? See, this is why I need an entire month to do a YouTube video because I just missed so many things.
Nick insisted I borrow his car.
So in light of all this new information, Joe forgives Tyler during shop class, and then the movie gets super boring. Like they all do. It's really just a little sort of montage, if you will, of Joe and Tyler failing at all their school projects because Mandy is sabotaging them. For example, there was one instance where she switched out a boiled egg for a raw egg, and you can definitely tell it was Mandy because the way it is.
Mandy had found a new part of my life to destroy. My chance at the Thompson Bird Scholarship.
Why would they show the egg carton?
Anyway, she keeps sabotaging them, like I said, but then she takes it way too far and crosses the line when her and the other plastics put some packets of Skinny Sweet, which is like this movie's version of Sweet and Low.
It's like cellulite in a strap without the cellulite.
They dump a bunch of that into the gas tank of a car that Joe's dad was working on for some race car drivers.
Dad, what's going on?
It's ruined. Jimmy and the boys are expecting a trial run tomorrow.
Jimmy and the boys, huh? Are they related to Dirty Mike and the boys?
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys?
So JoJo notices the Skinny Sweet packets left all over the garage floor that her dad didn't notice, and she's like, okay, Mandy, you want to play hardball? I'm game.
You wanna play hardball? I'm game.
So it's time to fight back. So Mandy has this big birthday bash coming up, and so Joe and Abby decide to throw a party the same night. And I loved how they did. This is like where we get the little mini makeover scene that a lot of these movies have. But they set it up so funny. So Abby's mom comes in right before the party, and she's like, why aren't you guys ready? And Joe and Abby are like, we are ready. And she's like, no, you guys can't wear these hideous clothes. Wear some of these hip party dresses I happen to buy.
Definitely.
Oh my god, the fact that this movie was made in 2011, but they dressed them for 2009, specifically 2 years after the hair feather trend was cool. Wow. Anyway, this party is popping. We got this dude balling hard, Elliot dancing with a plant. We got this weird girl, Quinn, who has super weird lines.
This party rocks! I heard Mandy's serving nigiri sushi. It's sushi.
What?
Pizza's coming. Pizza.
I did not alter that clip apart from just changing the speed for copyright purposes, but that is what her lines were.
Pizza.
Anyway, the party gets super gross and pukey. Raise your hand if you thought there would be less puke in this movie. Anyone? So Joe's friend group grows into this other group called the Anti-Plastics.
We called ourselves the Anti-Plastics.
There is a recycling joke in there, I'm sure of it, but I'm too lazy to write it. It's self-explanatory. They're the anti-plastics. They are the counterpart to the plastics. They were black, the plastics were pink, they walked down the hallway in a V, like a flock of Canadian geese, you get it. And their mission is to sabotage the plastics, to break them up, to dismantle them, kind of like in the first movie. But the way they did this was so weird. I'm gonna say that so many times, I know I already have. They kind of go for each girl. So first with Chastity, they sabotage her by tipping off the principal every time she goes to make out with a random guy at some hidden part of the school. And he punishes her by taking photos of it.
Get out of there, people!
Okay. And then with Hope, they somehow get like everybody in the school to sneeze on her because she's a germaphobe, you know? But then she books a seaweed facial at like a spa. And somehow the anti-plastics have the means to get inside the spa and find the specific esthetician who's doing Hope's facial. And they replace her products with some sort of permanent green henna paint or something. So she shows up to school looking like Shrek.
You didn't pick me up. I had to ride my Schwinn. I don't pick up ogres.
Ouch. Meanwhile, Abby is just getting cooler by the day. It's like the meaner they are to the plastics, the better they feel about themselves, you know? She's got her hair teased now. She dresses better. She's even dating Elliot, the hacker. So not only does he be like I'm in when he's hacking, but he also be like I'm in with the in crowd. We have to take a little break, and when we come back, the extremely detailed and long and never-ending, yet hilarious conclusion. Don't miss it. Okay, is there a second camera here? A voyeur camera, if you will. I'm just curious as to who's taping Principal Duval while he's taping himself.
Nobody will ever see that.
Meanwhile, guys, Abby is starting to feel a little slighted. Jo has just become so cool, what with her hair feathers and puffy skirts. She feels like maybe she will slowly start to be booted out of the new in crowd. Is anyone gonna acknowledge that that just happened? Or even Tyler is starting to notice she's becoming just like Mandy.
Starting to act a hell of a lot like Mandy.
She barely even eats junk food anymore.
Joe, you ate like 2 funnel cakes, a hot dog, and a bag of kettle corn on our first date.
2 funnel cakes? Reminds me of that Jim Gaffigan bit.
If you eat a whole pizza, people are like, wow, you were hungry. But if you eat a whole cake, people are like, you got a problem.
So guys, she's having second thoughts, you know? Although she's been behaving badly for a whole 120 seconds of this movie, she's changed. In fact, she's so conflicted that when she gets the next payment from Abby's dad, she's not sure if she wants it. $50,000, kids. Plus separate cash for books. Why did the filmmakers think that much money was necessary? How many meat juicers did he have to sell? I love how in the beginning he was like, oh, we'll start with $4,000. So I'm thinking by the second payment, maybe $5,000 or $6,000. No. He just went straight to what the average American earns in an entire year for the teenage girl.
I have more money than I know what to do with.
Also, someone would hang out with his daughter. Because you can't put a price on your daughter's happiness. So anyway, Jo goes back to Abby's dad to return the $50,000, and Mandy happens to be jogging by, hears the conversation, and immediately somehow gets it published in the school newspaper, even though the school newspaper girl, Quinn, is supposed to be friends with the anti-plastics. You know newspaper girl Quinn, right? You haven't forgotten her, have you?
So cool. Pizza.
So guys, the entire school has turned. Oh, how the turntables on Jo, including Abby.
Is it true? Did my dad pay you to be friends with me?
Well, yeah, but it was $50,000. I promise you, if someone said that to me, I would have been like, hey, give me half. We'll call it even, no hard feelings. But it doesn't go that way. Like I said, everyone has turned on her, including Tyler. And then Mandy and Nick take things even further, and they steal the homecoming charity money and plant it in Jo's dad's shed, obviously to frame her. Then they tip off Principal Duval, who accepts handwritten notes from students as factual information.
Miss Mitchell, I received an anonymous tip. We had a policeman go to your shed this afternoon, and I'm afraid we found the stolen money.
How did that get there?
Yeah, they sent a policeman to her house with no warrant based on a handwritten note from a teenage girl. So Joe runs up to Mandy and you think it's gonna go down. Like you think Mandy's finally gonna get drop kicked, but instead she challenges her.
So we're gonna settle this like men.
Yeah, let's handle this like men. Let's see who's got the bigger
Football game.
football game. Who has the bigger football game? They're playing a football game?
Football game. Powder puff style.
Literally not 1 second of this movie has had anything to do with football. But okay.
Oh, you scared? Can't take the heat. Mandy, fine. You're on.
So then, as if this movie could not get any weirder or more random, Quinn, you know, newspaper girl Quinn, Quinn approaches Abby and she's like, hey, I don't think Joe stole the money. I think Mandy did. And also,
Joe spent an awful lot of time putting together and sending out college applications for you. She even put together your portfolio.
what? So I guess that completely random detail that came out of nowhere was enough for Abby and all the other kids to suddenly forgive Joe and show up at her lawn and give her a hug. Who could blame you? It was $50,000.
And we have an idea to prove your innocence.
How is the ugliest house I've ever seen gonna prove Joe's innocence? Oh, security cameras. Yes, see, the neighbors who own the ugly house thankfully have set up security cameras, which could prove that Mandy and Nick were the ones who planted the money in Joe's dad's shed. But how will they access the footage? How will they hack into the system? If only there was a hacker who'd be like, I'm in. Oh, that's right, there is.
Wait, got it.
You got it? So you mean you're in?
Stop it. Get some help.
So while they're hacking that, Mandy is busy preparing for the football game. She hired a bunch of athletic girls. She's making lists of all her opponent's weaknesses.
She wasn't going to pull any punches.
Wow, this is a solid loser weakness list, if you ask me. Dyslexia, eczema, hay fever, pathetically blind, and sprained ankle. Pathetically blind. I thought my 2400 vision was pretty blind, but pathetically blind? Can you imagine?
Jamie, it's worse than we anticipated.
Oh, Doc, relax. It's no big deal. I've been legally blind like most of my life, as far back as I can remember. I just wear glasses.
You're not just blind, you're pathetically blind.
No!
Yeah!
So guys, it's time for the big powder puff game that they somehow got the entire student body and staff to organize based on an argument between two teenage girls. Are you guys ready?
Is everybody decent in here? I don't want a sexual harassment lawsuit again.
Again? What were the circumstances in the first one? Oh, yep. So they play the football game. It was actually pretty boring, uneventful, apart from Nick, like, barking from the audience. Oh, and this girl, Ling, she gets her glasses stomped on.
How bad's your vision? I'm legally blind.
Hey, same. But are you pathetically blind? It gets pretty chaotic. Abby, like, faints, gets depantsed. Hope sprays perfume on this one girl who can't walk away. She has to stand in the perfumes. It's not going well. All really seems lost until suddenly the hero hacker Elliot makes an announcement.
Joe, I did it. I did it.
Look, he did it.
How can she hear you across the football field? Joe, look, I did it.
He did it.
So by did it, he means, of course, he hacked the ugly house's security camera system. Meaning he got the video of Nick and Mandy planting the homecoming charity money in Joe's dad's garage and somehow sent it to every single person attending the football game's cell phone. His hacker skills be like, I'm in. so hard. Everybody stops watching the football game to watch this video. I mean, I can't blame them. The footage is incredible. So many camera angles. Even this random rent-a-cop must have gotten the video sent to his cell phone because he immediately arrests Nick. They don't even have a conversation. He just shows up to arrest Nicholas, which of course distracts and upsets Mandy, so Joe is able to tackle her, and then Abby scores a touchdown. What is this editing? I'm supposed to be the only one who adds freeze frames at awkward times. Me and my editors, not the filmmakers.
Let me go! Get off me!
Can we take the phone cameras away from Principal Duval at this point? So the movie finally starts to conclude at the homecoming dance with some really weird, like, stop motion editing. Ling is there still being pathetically blind. She never got her glasses fixed. Abby wins homecoming queen. Very exciting. And who wins homecoming king? But Elliot. I did it! The hacker. He really made out like a bandit in this flick. One might even say that he'd be like, I'm in. Sorry. That was the last time. So Joe and Tyler make out. Mandy has to pick up trash. Newspaper girl becomes the head plastic. Dream big. Hope gets sneezed on and then catches swine flu.
And instead, put her trust in antibiotics and hot doctors.
Huh? Abby and Joe both get into Carnegie Mellon, and Abby's dad helps Joe sell her birdhouse to pay for her tuition.
All for only $19.99.
Meaning instead of the meat juicers. The end. Oh my god, that was never ending. Finally, I can put my stinking glasses on. Oh, I can see. I'm not pathetically blind anymore. I can't really find the budget, but I'm also not willing to look that hard. How about some reviews? They look promising. Here's a good one. Mean Girls from Wish, 1 out of 10. This movie was causing me mental, physical, and emotional anguish and pain. I couldn't wait for it to be over, just like my life. If you want to experience a splitting headache, just bang your head against the wall. It's a better use of time. Okay, I guess in hindsight, that review was a little bit intense. One of the worst movies I've seen. A disgrace. Painful to watch. Bad. Just no. Give me free therapy, whoever made this movie. You caused it. Every passing second shocked me more and more about how bad it was, and I kept waiting for like parts of the movie that I didn't need to talk about, because sometimes when I review movies I can skip over large chunks like side plots that are boring or this, that, and the other, but I felt like I had to talk about every second of this movie because every second was bad and therefore hilarious, which is also fun. So I'm actually really thankful to the people who made this movie. By the time I got to the end of it with the football game, the puking chihuahua literally felt like 6 years ago. Anywho, that is it for me today, kids. I have to go start editing this because it's due real soon. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you again to HelloFresh for sponsoring a portion of today's video. Please feel free to join us over on Patreon, where we post all the behind the scenes footage from like any green screen fun shoots that we do. There's also extra vlogs over there. Don't forget to check out my new series called The Brew, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Ling, what? Come on!
Yeah, come on, Ling. Quit being pathetically blind. Like me. Oh my god, this looks freaking. That was better. Your rat dog just. So guys, obviously, dang it. Also, yes, this is nitpicky, but I couldn't get past the fact that every time they wanted to show somebody on that TV screen in like the lobby or wherever it is, cafeteria, they use the exact same shot all 3 times. Because lazy, because no effort, because no budget, because cash grab. Dear Mrs. Mitchell, on behalf of the Office of Admissions at Carnegie Mellon University, I would like to congratulate you on you are now challenged with making the very important decision of selecting which college or university you're going to attend. Huh?